Greetings, folks, and welcome to today's show. The Hands-On Science Center, which is one of our well-known and beloved assets, has a new executive director whose name is Sean Amidon. And we've invited Sean to be with us today, and he graciously accepted. He has an interesting background, so I think we should have a little fun here. Thanks, Sean, for joining us. And
my pleasure.
And welcome to Tullahoma.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you've only been here, what, 3 weeks?
About 3 weeks now, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hails over from North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So, well, let's begin with a little personal information on Sean. Give us your background, education, stuff like that.
Born and raised in Florida, Central Florida area. I kind of always had a love for science and animals. When I was, ever since I can remember, my dad always had, some pet snakes and stuff that we would catch and, keep in the house for a while. Camping trips all the time. We'd always go out. So he definitely was my inspiration for building a background and a love for nature. I went through school.
So you collected snakes and alligators?
No alligators, yeah. we just looked at them when we were in Florida, but yeah, just kind of always out in the woods, always camping, playing in the lake in our backyard, and stuff like that. Okay. It was definitely a good experience growing up. Decided to actually in high school I got very heavy into drama, so it's kind of went a little sideways there, and then went to college and decided to go back to biology and got a 4-year degree in biology at the University of South Florida in Tampa. So kind of really considered a major in drama, considered one in biology, and kind of decided to go the biology direction. I was actually looking to go to vet school. I had applied for vet schools and stuff, and then I discovered this program that they had in Gainesville, Florida, at Santa Fe Community College in Gainesville. It's actually a teaching zoo. They have a 2-year associate's degree in zoo animal technology. And so after completing my 4-year bachelor's degree...
Animal technology, I'm not sure I understand that.
Fancy term for zookeeping.
For what?
For zookeeping.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically I trained zookeepers. So I got my 4-year degree in biology, and then I went there and got a 2-year degree in zoo animal technology. And that school really trained zookeepers. It's a pretty well-known program, throughout the country. So got a bunch of animal experience there and got set up for my career.
Okay. Somewhere along the line you wound up in North Carolina, so we'll hear about that. Okay. Let's take a short commercial break, folks, and we'll come back and go some more.
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do,
Everyday miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Harris. I've been providing communication services throughout the United States since 1985. But instead of me telling you about the services I provide, I'll let some of my clients speak for me.
Hi, I'm Nancy Jernigan with Coffee County Realty and Auction Company. Jerry came to see us some time back, and even though we weren't ready for our phone system, he looked at our bill and he saved us over $200 a month. When we get ready for our new phone system, I'm sure we will be calling Jerry.
HOSC My Calls is by far the best service I have ever placed with any of my clients. It provides cost-saving solutions while providing great communications. Call me today, 931-581-4411. See how HOSC My Calls can save you.
We're talking today, folks, with the new Hands-On Science Center Executive Director, Sean Amidon. Sean has just joined us. He's only been on board about 3 weeks, so we have a lot to find out, and he's very new in the game. So give us your work background, Sean. What did you do before you got here?
Sure. Yeah. After graduating from college, those 2 different programs I got there, I actually got a zookeeping job at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Was there for about 5 years, so definitely a great opportunity. I was on a team that's actually a 3rd shift team, which sounds kind of strange for a zoo, but we actually had staff there overnight, help with work crews, working around animals and stuff. The great part about that is I was able to cover the entire park, so I got hands-on experience from things like poison arrow frogs all the way up to elephants and hippos and rhinos. So great opportunity there. Yeah. I was there for about 5 years, so that was definitely a very rewarding opportunity. I kind of really wanted to build my leadership and management experience, so I actually left that after 5 years to go into retail management for a while. Kind of always had this long-term vision of really leading an organization, whether it's starting my own type of organization or some big company like Hands-On Science Center where I can lead it. So I had the animal experience, and I really needed to work on the leadership and management. So I got an operations manager position with Petco. I was there for a few years, definitely learning a lot, and went on to running a store for Circle K. So I actually managed a location for that for a few years. So kind of got to the point where, okay, now it's time to combine that experience. I have that science experience. I have this leadership experience that I've been working on. I've got the animal experience. Decided to open my own company. I actually opened Cold-Blooded Encounters Reptile Zoo and Science Center.
What cold-blooded, what all did that include? That's reptiles and what? Yeah,
that was kind of an evolution. It started with just operating out of home. It was an educational outreach company, so I would do programs for schools and libraries and birthday parties just with a few animals I had at home. It would be a variety of stuff, anywhere from spiders and scorpions, frogs, lizards, turtles, just a little bit of everything that I'd bring out and do little educational programs with. So that was real fun, and like I said, just operating out of home. And
was this a portable course you were?
Oh yeah.
Taking out to school?
Yeah, we would just take things out, and I would doing programs all over, North Carolina, South Carolina, that whole area. And it got real popular, and decided to actually open up a facility that people could come and visit. And so just outside of Charlotte, I opened up our little science center. It started as a reptile zoo. Kind of, even the evolution of the name, it started as just Cold-Blooded Encounters when I was doing the programs from home. Then I changed it to Cold-Blooded Encounters Reptile Zoo, where I actually had, at one point, over 200 species of different invertebrates, amphibians, and reptiles on display where people could come and see it. And then I expanded next door. Over 200 different species. Actually, at one point, I may have been the largest in the world. For a few months there, technically, I had about 250 actually at one point. Largest reptile zoo in the world is Reptile Gardens in South Dakota, and they claim to have 225. Okay. So for a short period of time, I was the largest, but decided to refocus and actually expanded from Reptile Zoo to Reptile Zoo and Science Center, where I added different exhibits with fossils and gemstones. We started doing kitchen chemistry type programs and all kinds of really exciting things like that, where the kids could really learn about science, all aspects of it. Then after that, just was building that for a while, and kind of realized what the true long-term vision was to find a facility that's well and established and really looking to push the line, and just wasn't specifically looking to close that and find something else, but kind of always just had feelers out there, seeing what's going on in the industry. And I heard about the position.
Yeah, how did you and the Hands-On Science Center connect?
Yeah, well, like I said, it was interesting. It was kind of just an accident. I wasn't, in a desperate need to find a job or anything like that. I had my own thing going on, but just always had the resumes. It was actually Indeed website, I think, where I found the position. Just I just get postings for, director positions and curator positions and stuff like that, just kind of, seeing what's out there. I saw this one, I checked out the website. Being a nonprofit, you can go online and look at P&Ls and things like that, and see the history of the facility. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. Let me, see what happens. Maybe apply for an interview and go visit the place and see what happens.
And here you are.
And here I am.
Okay. Well, it's interesting in your background. I have to probe this a little bit. Your background is quite a bit different from what we've experienced here in the Hands-On Science Center, which was really started by a group of engineers and scientists from the center. Has always been headed in that direction, and now while you have some background that goes with that, a lot of your background is quite a bit different. So what's up? What's going on?
Well, I mean, the view I look at it is, it's really the leadership that's important, and you kind of can, follow. A facility like that is very organic. People don't realize that, it's not necessarily the one person that's going to go in there and decide exactly where everything goes. Really, the community has a big part of that. The board has a big part of that. So, do I want to see, more of what we call natural history, which is, the animal part of it, geology, stuff like that? Sure, that's my background. That's what I'm primarily, have always had a love for in the past. But I'm not going there to, really impose, myself on something. I love what the Science Center has done. I love the direction it's taken so far with the technology and engineering. Obviously, with Arnold Air Force Base here, we have huge backing from them. So I don't plan on taking away anything. Do I have, some ideas for expanding? Sure, but it's not really something where I expect any huge major changes immediately. We just got to kind of go with the flow of what's going on with the community.
Okay. Well, I know you're just settling in, so I'm sure you don't have anything specific in mind, but generally what direction are you thinking of heading?
I've definitely, I have lots of great ideas. I've talked with several of the board members with some great ideas. I do, like I said, I do want to, expand some natural history. And I don't think it ever hurts, any place to be more broad and offer more opportunities.
Did you and the board discuss that while you were interviewing?
A little bit, yeah. They knew my background and, knew what I had to offer and, knew my experience. And again, at the interview, I kind of just...
They're amenable to you launching in a new direction? Well,
sure. Yeah. I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't call it a new direction. Just kind of, broadening things. Absolutely. I think one of the main reasons the board brought me on is my business experience. My leadership and management, but also, how to run a business.
How about fundraising?
Fundraising and stuff like that too. I mean, that's absolutely one thing that. I was quoted in the paper as saying that the facility I really think is poised for a growth spurt. By focusing and really exploring different avenues of revenue, that's what's really going to cause it. Will offering some of these more natural history stuff appeal to a wider audience? Probably. Yeah. Will that bring in more revenue? Probably.
That's one question you need to find an answer for.
Absolutely.
Huh? Okay. Sean, we're going to need to take a commercial break, so let's pause there for a minute, and we'll be right back, folks.
Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has proudly served your auto rental for over 30 years. Check out this huge selection to choose from. Small car, mid-size car, full-size car, crossover vehicle, SUV, minivan, pickup trucks, 12 and 15 passenger vans. Whether big or small, Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has them all. Stop by our 2 locations to serve you, Tullahoma and in Winchester. And remember, my question is, why rent anywhere else?
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
We're back, folks, and we're talking today with Sean Amidon, who is the new Executive Director of the Hands-On Science Center. And we've been getting quite a bit on his background. He's thinking now not of changing the direction of the Hands-On Science Center, but adding another dimension which he calls natural history. So give us a little general insight. I know you haven't had a chance to plan anything specific, but sort of what's in the back of your head spinning around.
Sure. I mean, one of the things that I have done so far is I actually, brought some of the stuff that I had at my facility, some of the artifacts. We got a big, 7-foot-long taxidermy boa that we now have on exhibit, and some different pelts and skulls and things like that.
Did you bring your boa? Is that one of your exhibits?
Well, it was one of my taxidermy ones. Somebody had actually donated it that had it for a long time, and their brother actually died and donated it in their name. So that was a cool little thing. So we got that you can come out and take a look at. Actually, we did just roll out a few days ago. We're doing a little test pilot program for a new program that we're offering with some traveling reptile parties. So hopefully that will bring in, more interest and a new line of revenue. We're actually going to do kind of how I had started my original business.
A travel reptile party.
Yeah, we'll actually go to kids' birthday parties with our animals. Like I said, kind of how I originally started out. So we're not going huge with it right now. It's just kind of a little pilot program.
Yeah.
But that way it's going to let us, one thing, the Science Center is always advertised, serving 11 counties in Middle Tennessee. Well, why not expand a little bit? We can do, a party in Nashville. There's a lot of money in Nashville. The birthday parties and stuff like that. We can go to Chattanooga. We can go to Huntsville. Expand all these areas a little bit to, start bringing some of that money from the larger areas, back here to Tullahoma, back to the Science Center.
No doubt you'll have a little competition in all those areas.
A little bit. That's why I kind of did focus on the reptile part of it, because reptiles, there really wasn't that much competition, and that's one thing that really helped me, in Charlotte, is there isn't a whole lot of competition, but there's a lot of interest. The kids really are fascinated by that kind of thing. Yeah. So in Charlotte, I did have not a lot of competition, but I had some. Here, from my research, there's almost no competition. So there's a niche out there that's not being filled for those kids.
I guess I thought, and I confess I haven't been there, that the Nashville Zoo had a reptile
Sure, they do. But
exhibit.
I could be wrong about this. Like I said, I haven't been in the area very long. But I don't believe they do a lot with traveling stuff. And if they do, they don't do a lot with the private sector.
Yeah.
What we're going to kind of try and hit is that private sector with the birthday parties at people's homes and stuff.
Okay. So what did you bring over in the way of artifacts? You have your boa?
I got the big boa. I've got a bunch of different skulls of various animals. I got a big impala pelt, lots of gemstones and small miscellaneous fossils and things like that.
What do you call it? Gemstones?
Yeah, gemstones.
Is that what was
rocks.
listed as a geode?
Yeah, a geode. Yeah, type that. We got a big geode exhibit there.
Not that familiar a term. Yeah. Okay. Well, all this is very interesting. How much empty space have you got out there?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Big focus right now is reorganizing and laying out the exhibits a little bit differently. Maintenance has been an issue, just general wear and tear of exhibits. So we're kind of repainting a lot of stuff, trying to encourage people to come out and volunteer and help us out by repainting some exhibits, helping relocate exhibits, kind of things were, laid out here and there over the past, 20-some years.
So you need some volunteers. With what kind of skills?
A whole huge variety of skills. We need people with administrative skills and bookkeeping skills to be on the computers and helping refocus some stuff. We need people with painting skills, construction skills. We need a little bit of everything. So.
Yeah. Okay. How about the space itself? Are you going to?
I know there's a long-term vision for what the board had already come up with as far as expanding the facility and things like that. I definitely want to take that long-term vision and cut it into smaller pieces.
The board's already been thinking about physically expanding.
It's kind of a dream, a dream type thing, a long-term dream. There are no actual plans or anything like that. I want to take it in nice small steps. So I am looking at how we can expand. Big thing is it's the money. So right now I'm kind of focusing on trying to reach out to the people out there and let them know, hey, we're here. We have all these great ideas, but we need your support. So we're reaching out to small businesses, trying to get sponsorships. We're reaching out to the large corporations, trying to get sponsorships. I'm really working hard on grants and things like that. But it's it's the people out in the public, out in the community that we actually really need to help support us.
Right now you have a major PR thrust going on, huh? Public relations, okay. And need more space, all right. Another thing, they may have been doing a little bit, but I don't think it's been a particular interest, but you're talking about adding garden space outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's actually, one project that was already in the works before I started was what's called a sound garden. It's basically outdoor instruments that kids can actually go and play these different outdoor instruments, and they're kind of laid out in a garden. So that's where the term
instruments like what?
Xylophones, drums, cymbals, things like that. Just a whole, basically an outdoor exhibit, exploring the science of sound.
Huh.
So they had that in the plans, and I actually came up with some ideas to incorporate like herb gardens and butterfly gardens into the property, and actually incorporate it directly into that sound garden as well. I'm really big on combining the different aspects of things. Science isn't just all this, all that, all that. If you combine, the harder elements of the instruments with the softer, natural elements of a butterfly garden, it reaches people a little bit different. So
your science is not limited to physics and chemistry, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. You got to kind of look at things, from a whole perspective. I got a degree in biology. I don't consider myself a biologist. I don't consider myself, a zoologist, even though most of my experience has been animals. Kind of just consider myself, a naturalist and a general scientist. You got to be able to absorb everything and really incorporate everything into one.
Naturalist and a little environmental thrown in as well.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Well, this is all coming down to be very interesting. You're a butterfly garden. We can understand that. Medicinal herbs. Mm-hmm. What are you going to do with them?
That's something I actually had at my facility. It was, the kids really liked it because you have different, different types of herbs out there, and talk about how they've been, used, throughout history. Just the common things like rosemary and peppermint, those were actually used for remedies back in the olden days. People, peppermint was used for lots of stuff, all kinds of gastrointestinal problems. Rosemary, different things like that. There's all kinds of things out there that in today's age, where we have all this technology and all this fancy medicine, and kids pop a pill and they don't realize how it was, where that little pill came from. Research on all these herbs. Exactly. And so being able to have these plants and have some graphics talking about, back in the pioneer days, they used lamb's ear. It's as the first Band-Aid. It was this leaf that was kind of fuzzy that wouldn't stick to wounds. So they had actually put the lamb's ear over a wound before they wrap it up.
Deer? The skin?
No, it's a plant. It's an actual plant. They just call it lamb's ear because it's shaped like an ear and kind of fuzzy.
Okay.
And they would actually use the leaves of that plant as the first Band-Aids. Hey, that's cool.
Put it on and it sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Okay. Talk about your growth ideas a little bit. You've I guess you're going to have to decide, first of all, what sort of... Looks to me like, folks, we have run out of time. So we're going to need to take a commercial break and wrap up.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck.
Big, bigger, and even bigger. Russell Barnett has any size truck for any size need. Chevrolet, Ford, GMC, Ram. Check us out on the web at russellbarnett.com. Our selection is so huge, we may need our own zip code. So my question is, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
With the best selection anywhere, Russell's got your truck, man.
The day the Lord created hope could be the same day He created spring.
Springtime's here. It's a good time to get our air conditioners checked out before those hot summer days get here. We've been here for a little over 35 years. It's been our pleasure to serve our community. We'd like to thank you for Tullahoma's finest, and from all of us to all of you.
Thank you.
We've been talking today, folks, with Sean Amidon, who is the new Executive Director of the Hands-On Science Center. And their plan is to continue their emphasis we've had on science and engineering, but he also is bringing some ideas in that the board seems to be interested in, and we'll be adding a new direction to the Hands-On Science Center. And so he's going to need a lot of community interest and support. Sean, you want to take a minute to speak to the folks? You've got something you need from them?
First, I just want to thank everybody for welcoming me to the community. It definitely seems like everybody's very friendly here and a lot of support for the center. And I just want to say we need that support. We need it to continue. We have all kinds of great things coming up. This summer we have a whole variety of summer programs that I've actually worked with Olga, our Air Force STEM director, to help expand upon those and expand upon different ideas that we've done last year. So that's going to be real great. And I have lots of plans for all kinds of activities throughout the year. We've had some in the past. There's been some big events, and I want to really add a lot more of those big events. Keep the community excited about it and have you all come out and help support us.
Sounds like you're going to be busy.
I am going to be busy.
What's the staff at the Hands-On Science Center? I've kind of lost track of it.
We have myself, and then we have also a new position, the Air Force STEM Director. That's Olga Oakley.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
She actually, that's a new position because the Air Force turned over their STEM program to us. And then I have two staff assistants, and then volunteers.
All right, yeah. Well, you need some help.
We do.
Okay, Sean, thanks very much for taking time to join us.
My pleasure.
Sharing your views, and things look kind of interesting out there, folks. So keep tuned in, and thanks for inviting us into your parlor, and we'll see you next time.